Good evening from New York. Today, mystic and near death experiences. Speak. Empathetic inner mind communication. Wow. Well, I've been listening to a lot of stuff about these type of experiences. I've got to say that religion seems to be very earth centered, and to say that the drama on this planet alone is all that significant when you're looking at a huge, unbelievably large universe with a lot of probability for intelligent life out there that we may never know. Uh, yeah. So, I mean, Buddha's realization, Jesus dying on the cross, and Krishna walking around working little miracles here and there. Yeah, and Muhammad's miraculous reception of angelic teachings. Well, let's just look at that now. Everybody puts such a great deal of importance to their particular religion. Religion has its value, but it's like a finger, pointing to a greater reality, and it's like if you're believing some of these old books, I mean, come on, the world wasn't created in 7 days, and there's no reason in the world why an intelligent, all-knowing God would not have revealed that. It's like, really? And then you see people, they're just dancing around these things that they want to believe. And one thing I see about it, as far as spirituality goes, is that they all have this kind of, oh yeah, but punishment is going to happen. Um, this really punishing attitudes. I mean, for not believing what you do. That's pretty. Isn't that a little pompous? It really is. Yeah. I'm just saying that we need to think more. If you're having a near death experience, I mean, that's, a huge amount of helplessness being experienced. And we don't do well with that. As far as popping out of your body, they can produce that in the lab, okay? People don't talk about that. What a downer, huh? They can produce it in the lab. The military's already done it. And they do it by suppressing parts of the brain that give us our spatial orientation. Duh. But if you're in terrible pain and in a helpless kind of situation, that anxiety, it's intolerable. And we have to find some way to cope with that. And in trauma in general, there's helplessness, and no mammal can handle that. they'll sicken or die. That's powerful stuff. So what happens is people create some more attainable need because there's need involved in trauma, and that it's more possible for them to get. Maybe the need is to get away or to win a fight, or who knows? There are a lot of needs having to do with our survival and our development. When those things aren't met, and there's a lot of helplessness, well, what happens is that we distance ourselves from that original need and experience symbolically with something nicer. If we can, and if we can't, then we're in a world hurt, and we probably go and see a psychiatrist. So you're running away, and but the symbolic still points back to the real deal, right? So if you reflect inside your mind, if you practice empathetic inner mind communication, you kind of find out what that was. And you unlearn the helplessness to feel it. And then the symbolic struggles that were created to replace that, well, you don't need it anymore, right? And that's healthy. You can focus on today and what you need to do tomorrow, perhaps. You're not held back by the past. And until then, that symbolic expression and struggle is playing out with you in your life. You don't even know it sometimes, until you go and you take a look. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, yeah. Drop in, see what condition your condition is in. You need to practice empathetic inner mind communication. It's empathy in various forms well, it's the path of virtue. And yeah, so objective empathy gives us the ideal or the virtue of truth, and compassionate empathy, the virtue of goodness, and creative empathy gives us artfulness, the ability to be. All of these things help meet human need, to be artful, to be, or creative, that is, and to be objective and to be compassionate helps meet human need. And those things are at the root of our virtues. So it's not a big mystery. Just not. Sorry, we evolved. We evolved from ape-like creatures. We are a form of ape, according to Sapolsky. He is absolutely right. Uh, you know, yeah, I believe in science. It's all right to have a lot of, comforting thoughts and wishes, but if you're going to really bet on something, uh, look for proof that it's a good bet. Or you kind of wasting your time, unless you just, well, you need a little comfort, okay. But the near-death experience does what? You're about to die. And they have near-death experiences with people who think they're about to die. Interesting, isn't it? And so they pop out of their body, because that's where the pain is. And they step into a symbolic realm that is more comfortable and, you know, and then they go into their struggle to, mm, to create symbolic sources of love, to replace what wasn't there or isn't there at the moment. And, that there are paranormal things that happen when people have near death experiences. But that doesn't prove that there's an afterlife. But there could be. And these things are worth noting. Knowing things that you otherwise couldn't know. I've had that experience. I had that experience in Christianity. Um, it's a hmm, you try to. We were told to try and speak the love of God, and that it was loving, then that's prophecy. If you have faith, then maybe it'd be Him. So, well, the interesting thing was it was a lot of paranormal stuff. You know, it was a lot of love, just like the near death experiences, and it was very strong, and uh, there was things I don't know how in the world I could possibly have known, and yeah, so yeah, there's something that's going on, a lot of things going on that we can't explain, but isn't it more ethical to say you don't know? that's that's the thing I really respect about scientists. They don't go, "Oh, there's a bump in the night. It's a ghost, and her name is Mary." They go, "There was a sound. We're gonna look into that." It's like, so they don't jump to conclusions. They know that can be very wrong, and religion jumps to a lot of conclusions. It's but the fact is that they're talking about love and kind of source of all love. Maybe there is such a thing. Um, they're pointing to that. Well, but one thing I will say, and a lot of things are going to line up with different things in Scripture, the different scriptures around the world. Why? Because they're symbolic of love, of things that needed to happen and didn't. Um, yeah, it's still, still impacting, and to experience a religion, um, that's fine, but to draw conclusions from it, like if I were to say, "Oh, Jesus was speaking through me," I don't know that. It was a personal, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, it's a personal truth. It was just something, a useful thought or idea that's comforting, and okay, maybe it was. But let's face it, what somebody does on this tiny little planet in the middle of basically nowhere uh, is not that significant. We started off thinking that that everything went around the Earth. Wrong. Then we thought, well, there's the sun and the earth is going around it, but everything else is like, just window dressing. No, it's not. Now, I'm not saying that we've had any evidence of people from outer space. I mean, I think that's very unlikely. From what I understand. But there's a lot to understand that I don't know. So, but there's no real evidence for that. There just isn't. And it's not because people aren't looking for it. Scientists are looking for it. They'd love to see evidence of intelligent life out there. Some of them are a little frightened about it. You know, you might not want to meet this intelligent species. Yeah, might not turn out too good for us. They look at us and go, let's see, pets or food? Maybe both. You know, so but love is still the answer, and whatever you believe, that's fine. Uh, but understand that love is at the core of things, and these people fighting over their religious beliefs. Please, that's crazy. Let's call it what it is. It's well, crazy's pejorative. It's like, well, if you want to take it that way, but it's also shorthand for mentally ill. And we all have a little bit of mental illness, probably of one kind or another. Uh, but and a lot of people are religious, so yeah. So yeah, I've had amazing experiences that are kind of like that, and it's weird how my life went from experiencing all these different religions and seeing a common thread and seeing having this experience of channeling a kind of love that just still, when I think about it, brings tears to my eyes. But that's in everybody, isn't it? That kind of love, that kind of empathy, it's there. Krishna says he's the inner sacrifice. I think a lot of the mystics, they talk uh, about themselves as voices of the higher self, the Paramatma, the part of you that I say, at the very least, is your brain, and which knows what you're going to do before you go, aha, I'm going to do this. Now, okay. So, in that sense, your brain is your higher self. It's you, but you also have a relationship with it. Yeah. And so, that's uh, that's an important thing to look at. But the one thing that brings us all together is love and mutual respect. The most evil person in the world, there's a reason why they're that way. They may have had, you know, damaged lives. They probably did. I don't think people go, from an early age being objective and rational and whatever and going, gee, I think I'd like to be a serial killer. I don't think so. No, something happened. Something's wrong, something happened to their brain, something, something's not right. Uh, and you go, oh, well, you're just going to let them walk the street? Nah. There's people that want to punish people. It just makes monsters out of us. You want to punish people? No. Like this Trump fellow. Oh my God. He's a mentally ill person, and you put him in the presidency? Made him president of the United States, the most powerful democracy on earth. You elected the guy to lead the country. He's mentally ill. There's no reason to hate him, but there's a lot of reason to fear him and to hate what he does. But it's kind of sad. And yeah, but that kind of let's go into this symbolic thinking that people get into. This childish kind of nonsense, like you know, his ear. He got shot, and it hit his ear, and oh, that's a sign of God picked him. Well, if blood on your ear was a statement that God chose you, there's a lot of guys that cut themselves shaving who have been anointed. Don't be silly. Was he a hero? No, I'm not going to put him down, but he ducked. The hero would probably keep standing to protect the people behind him, I suppose. Right? No, he ducked so the bullet would hit these people that were following him. Not on purpose to hit them, but he was just taking care of himself. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But and it's kind of sad that we have a country where people are being shot at to fix a problem that they think that person that they're shooting is responsible for. That's not the way you change society. And it makes a monster out of you. You do that, you're a monster too. Yeah, you don't do that. Love is the only answer. One thing that they do, that joins the mystic and the near-death experiences in all the religions is love. Is that hard to grasp? And it doesn't mean who cares what you think? Who cares what I think? You know, let's pay attention to what works. And I have found that communicating with empathetic inner mind communication, talking to yourself. I like to people say, well, that's crazy. I said, well, if you give yourself a good talking to, then somebody else might not need to. And there's all kinds of perspectives in ourselves, and they jam it together and call it me or I. But there's different sorts of perspectives and you know personifications that we could do. Uh, I have a voice. I do this. I'm General Beauregard, and I'm a good man. I never beat my wife with a stick bigger round than my thumb. You know. Don't like that guy, but I can play him. And there he is. He's talking in there. I just don't believe what he says. And then there's other kinds of personalities that we might grab onto. Well, because I was born in Tennessee, actually. I was. So my mother talked like this for a long time. When we moved up to Michigander town land, when I was 2 years old, I heard a lot of people talking like this, really did. Mm. And that's in me. There it is. Oh, there it is. So who are you? That's an interesting thing to look into. Just who and what are you? There are voices in you need to listen to. One is your inner counselor, another your inner caregiver, and one your inner artist, the creator of all you imagine. They can create new memories for you, can refashion memories that you had before. Of course, your inner counselor can help you with objectivity and help you to have a better sense of the present looking forward. And your inner caregiver can help you to realize the blessings you have today and the meaning that you can gather from your past. So, you know, and there are ways that you can exercise these forms of empathy. And that's what the channel's about, is communicating with love inside yourself and outside to other people. And if it's dividing us up, that's not real love, is it? But there are some people who are so lost from they haven't. It's not their fault. They're out of touch with their real needs. They're lost in symbolic land. Some are more symbolic than they are real. Mm. And they function. Some of them even get rich. Talking about symbols. Oh my God. Trump hugging a flag. The symbolic to them is more important than the substance. He carries a Bible upside down. Like, I'm one of you. I'm a Christian. There are a lot of things that Jesus had to say that I don't think ever supposedly said that Trump would be very comfortable with. It certainly is. He's no Jesus. So you believe in Jesus, or you believe in love. That's great. No one loves more than this, that they will lay down their life for a friend, and I've called them friends. But he's preaching love. Yeah. So I mean, if it's real, you can take a path and you can get there. You can have a path of reason or an actual path. And there's this building over yonder, and it's just real great, and it houses the best restaurant I've ever been to, and you need to go. You need to go there. Well, do you worship the restaurant? And you go, oh, one day, I'm gonna go. Or do you figure out where it's at? Then you go there. That's the path of the mystic in the near death experience. They went there. They went to a higher sense of love. They took a journey and it made them more loving. and they saw there was a need to be loving. Whatever else that you think it comes from this, that's fine. But yeah, if that's the answer is love, and that would be true on any planet, anywhere with intelligent life. That's that's social and advanced. That's a very useful thing, empathy. Of course, that could come in all kinds of surprising ways. We haven't had a chance yet to see those things. Might scare us to death, so it might really scare us. But, not a ways to put it together. But me, love, the reason I say it could be everywhere, and it is everywhere, that where there's intelligent life, is that love is about meeting human need, real need. Symbolic need, like money, power, that can be a real addiction. You can never have enough. I go and I eat something and I'm on my pool now. I can leave the rest of that food in the restaurant for other people. There are people that just gobble up the money. They got to have more. If they lose just a little bit, that could be the beginning of losing it all. They just really very much into getting more and more wealth, more and more power. Well, when is it too much power and too much wealth? Well, when you're able to buy the government, Elon is trying to buy the government. Actually, in the United States, around the world, rich and powerful people seem to have bigger voices than all of the little people like you and I. Probably you and I. Maybe you're a big shot. I don't know. And that's no problem. And some people can handle a lot of money, and some people can't. It's just like an athlete eats breakfast that I shouldn't eat that in a day. I'd probably eat that over the course of a week. I can't handle it. And some people handle a lot of money. They're good at it. Okay, that's fine. But give back. Pay your fair share of taxes. Come on. What's fair share of taxes? Well, we shouldn't have veterans in the street, and we shouldn't have any child not going to school, not having health care, and not having food. The richest country in the world, too, here in the United States. Well, that should be the aim of any country, all of the democracies. And you say, well, what's the big deal about democracy? The rich and the powerful run everything. Well, in a country that even claims to be a democracy, um, your voice still matters. And you can convince people that have a lot of money. Even Jesus said, make friends in high places. Nothing wrong with that. So, it's not a crime to have a lot of money. It's a crime to have so much money and power that you could, you can't handle it anymore, and you use it to buy the government and not pay your fair share. That's a problem. You're an addict. You need somebody needs to take that money away from you, that power. You know, they need to take it away because you're an addict. If you're handling it well and you're doing good for society, well, that's okay. If you're not trying to buy elections, secretly even, then that's not right. That's why I'm a Democrat. Darn proud of it. Not that I'm anything special. I could see that under the right conditions, I might have been fooled by the grand old party, which does not in any way, especially now, resemble Abraham Lincoln. It hasn't been the party of Lincoln since they had the Southern strategy, which meant sending a signal out to the racist people there, you know. And then, it's a hot button thing down there. Yeah. It's kind of funny that people go, oh, you're going to teach real history in the class. Then all the little white children are going to feel guilty. What a load of baloney. In the first place, quit calling people colors because they're not. They're just different shades of brown. Some are very light skinned, I just, it's ridiculous. Why should they feel guilty? They didn't do it, but they should know that someone did, and that has had an impact on a lot of people, a lot of kids that might be their friend. It helps them understand. I had this fellow that was arguing that, and I could see him, working up to trying to say that people that are poor in the United States are inferior people because people come from other countries and they succeed. These poor people don't. Well, there are reasons why poor people don't succeed. And a lot of these people come from other countries and they were business owners over there, and they didn't, it impacts people when you persecute them. And there's some groups, that have been so persecuted, and it's just wrong. And why would anybody want to judge other people because of who they love? Just be grateful that people love at all, because they certainly aren't loving each other over in Gaza. Well, I'll close now. Y'all have a good day.